Hey y'all, I'm Flynt.
And I'm Lena.
Welcome back to Queer Dice Rolls, the podcast where two queer, neurodivergent, and chronically ill bards try working out their pasts, identities, and problems, one conversation at a time.
Join us as we, once again, fail our deception checks and share just a little too much.
Hi Lena.
Hi Flynt.
What makes a character compelling or worth spending time with?
For me, it's characters that make you think or reflect more deeply about yourself. Like, because of either the choices that they're making or how they live their life. So, characters that I find interesting. And I also love characters who have, like, a particularly good mask, because there's something to like discover underneath that usually.
Oh, like they have like some sort of mystery or like thing they're obfuscating, or
yeah, or like they're like neurodivergent, like masking.
I
always find characters like that interesting, characters that aren't neurotypical.
Shocking.
It's very shocking, especially for me. Yeah, that's what I would say. What about you?
So I really like characters that, I think I go two different directions. So I tend to really like annoying characters. I think just because I find it funny. Like this is I'm trying to think of a good example that isn't someone who is canceled.
Oh no.
The best character, like I very much like Muppet and like Looney Tunes, like cartoony style, like humor a lot of time. But if I'm playing a character or want to spend more time with a character, I really like characters that have a lot of depth of emotion. Mm-hmm. They're dynamic. They feel anger or sadness very strongly, or even joy really strongly, because I found that sometimes I have a hard time feeling feelings for myself. And so I really like to spend time with characters that allow me to feel really strong, genuine feelings in a safe way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so if you haven't figured it out, we're talking about characters today.
Yeah.
But first,
a word from our characters. Hi there, welcome to Les's Library of Likes, where Les, that's me, talks about stuff I really like right now. This week, I want to talk about Lord of the Rings Online. It's an online free-to-play MMO, and I've never played that many games because most of the time I read books, but this game is so awesome. If you like Lord of the Rings, you'll for sure like this game. But if you don't, you'll learn about it, and then you'll like it. So it looks just like the movies, which is super cool. So you're like walking around in a game, but it's in a movie, and it's all like really pretty, especially when you get to the areas with the elves. I'm an elf, so I like, elf stuff. It's cool. It's real pretty over there, but each biome is like really separated, and you can play with your friends, which is great. So you can like play by yourself, or you can play with your friends and get online and like, be on video or voice chat and go be in a fellowship together and like do stuff. So you can craft, you can have a house together, which is great. You can go and, kill monsters. Yeah, everybody likes combat. But it's a game that I've been really enjoying with my friends. We play like at least once a week. And, okay, I'll talk to you later.
and we're back.
We're back.
Hi.
Hi.
So today we're going to claim some characters.
Ooh.
Put voices to faces. No.
No.
Names to voices.
I mean, if we post our character art, then people will actually understand what they look like. We'll do it. But, can I be Mirth?
Absolutely not.
But baby, why?
So basic format. Use your voice, introduce your character's name, say what we were using, what TTRPG we were using at the time,
Okay.
and basically their class and heritage, so to speak.
Okay. I think I can do it. I'm sure I will.
believe in you.
I'll fail right away. So do you want me to just do all of them first?
Yeah.
Okay, I got this. Here we go. So my first character's name is River. Shining River. River's fine. I'm a monk. I can't. He's just staring at you too much. He's a Way of the Sensual monk in D&D 5th edition, and he's a tabaxi, so he's a cat boy, and he's got he's kind of like a leopard, so he's got black, or like a panther, I guess, a panther with like those rosettes that you can kind of see, but he's like reverse coloration, so he's got black fur, and then his rosettes are like gold and a little bit sparkly because we live in Fantasy Town. So and he's got pretty green eyes. I love him.
Fancy boy.
His fur's real fancy. He wears like no clothes because he's
Okay.
he just wears pants.
Just butt naked all the time.
Just butt naked. I said his name. Yes, I think I covered.
You did it. Okay.
Oh my god.
Next character.
All right, we didn't fail yet.
What just happened?
I was just trying to be Voltaire, and he was like, "Why the fuck am I here right now?" I was so upset. My name is Sebastian Voltaire. It's actually Lord Voltaire. No one knows my first name, except for my partner. He's a Way of the Long Death monk, also in 5e. We played Voltaire and Akata like a few years ago, and now we play them in Daggerheart.
They're older.
And, they're like 10 years older, and he's he's not a guardian, is he?
No, he's a warrior.
He's a warrior, thank you. I always get those mixed up. So he's a warrior in Daggerheart. Tried to give it as much like monk flavor as possible.
No, now they have the new brawler
I know.
situation happening.
I need to change what's going on with him. And he's a human. He pretends he's a vampire. He has fake vampire teeth.
It's cooler than it sounds.
He's so cool. He's definitely my coolest character. Like, it's so sad to be describing him this way because I'm like, he is objectively my coolest character.
He's a very cool man. Yeah.
He's very mysterious. And yeah, he's in 5e and Daggerheart. And yeah, I think that's him. So then a character I won't talk about that much is my name's Welly, and I'm an emerald dragonborn, and I'm a battlemaster fighter. And I was in her show. Mm-hmm. We probably won't be talking about me that much. I haven't heard her voice in a long time. I know, it's real high for me. It's fun to do though. My phrase to get into her accent is oh, there's a lot of mosquitoes down there by the lake. And she's also in 5e, D&D 5e. And then after that's Mercutio. You all know me. Mercutio Claudius Titania Banquo Ulysses Falstaff. And I'm a College of Eloquence bard. Also in 5e, but in Critical Role's Explorer's Guide to Wildmount.
That was the campaign I ran.
Yes, great campaign. We will talk a lot about it because I love it. And he's a halfling. He's a halfling bard. And then Laz is hi there. My name's Laz. My actual name's Lazarus Shield, but I go by Laz because, you know, nicknames.
Nicknames are cool.
Yeah, nicknames are cool. I'm not, but and he's a sorcerer who thinks he's a wizard right now, and he is a in Pathfinder 2e he's a Duskwalker, but we're transitioning the game to Daggerheart now. So he's and he was like an elf, and he's still an elf, and he's gonna be a sorcerer in Daggerheart as well, just a very different flavor because he's a necromancer, but there aren't like a ton of spells so far I've been able to take in Daggerheart that are like extreme necromancy flavored.
But you're an elemental sorcerer, so like you can make it your flavor or whatever.
Yeah, we're like working it out, and I love it. I love Daggerheart. I could talk about it forever. So those are my characters. Who are you claiming besides Mirth that I'm gonna take? I'm not gonna take him.
Can't have him.
I can't have him.
So Mirtha the Dan's here for all your needs. I'm a Sword College bard in Dungeons and Dragons 5e. And I am also a Rakshasa Tiefling, which is a homebrew. And then, let's see, we have Akada, who was a halfling, Path of the Beast Barbarian in 5e. Now she's a guardian in in Daggerheart. She was a warrior, now she's a guardian, because it fits a bit better. There's like a rage mechanic. And then, because you talked about Mercushi, I guess I have to talk about Havoc a little bit, which was a DM PC. So that's a non-player character that I played as the DM for you. Havoc is an opalescent tiefling, like a white opal tiefling, who is a battlesmith artificer. And he talks up here, "Hey, darling."
Hi, baby.
And then my boy right now is "Hey, yo, my name's Quentin Dex. I am in flux currently as to what I am." Constantly. He's been through some changes, but he's was originally a Talos, which is like a metal plane creature. Now we're switching to Daggerheart, so he's a giant, which is fun. And he is I'm trying out Brawler and doing the Juggernaut thing, which is very fun.
It's so awesome.
But he was originally in Pathfinder 2, he was a fighter with a wrestling specialization, which meant that he didn't wear armor, and he still doesn't wear armor, and he doesn't have weapons. He fights with his hands.
He is the weapon.
Because he's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all our characters. That's a good overview to kind of give everybody like now you know who owns what. Now that you've heard from them a few times. And we're going to get into how we created these characters and how they're different.
Yeah, because we talked a lot about last time with Mirth and River, like, we were just making characters, and now we make them with a lot more conscious intentionality, closer to us and everything. So all of their character, like, creations have been really, really different.
Yeah.
As we've evolved as people.
That's kind of why we wanted to talk about it, because the first were like, as many characters accidentally have a lot of you in them, and then once you understand that tool, you can use it. But I kind of wanted to start off with like something that we were speaking about off mic, which was the difference, like we just did a bunch of voices, right?
Yeah.
But the difference between like an affectation and a dialect or an accent.
Oh, sure. So like, I think I mentioned this first of
Yeah, because you have training in it. I just work here.
Yeah, he definitely works here, like, is a very good worker. But I went to theater college. Yay. I don't know. Yay. There was a lot of theater college is great. You learn a lot about life. Everyone should have a theater degree. This is my plug. I think theater degrees are fantastic. So I learned a lot of tools with that, but for me, like, the difference between like dialect and affectation is an affectation is usually an adaptation of some kind. So it's more of an overall thing that happens with the way that you speak versus like a dialect is going to have differences in the way you pronounce your vowels and consonants and the musicality and the rhythm of your voice. So an affectation would be like River has an affectation.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't speak in a different dialect. He's not from a different region necessarily than my voice is, but he talks down here and more monotone and has vocal fry, right? And then same with like Mercutia is an affectation, but dialect is like, I'm Les and I've got a like very specific dialect from a specific place in the world, and all of my vowels
I
are different.
understand that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So that's like,
Because it changes like how you do your vowels and like even cadence and all of those things, right?
yes, and those are like so important because if you were just telling me the other day you saw like a cute little video about like change this one thing about your dialect and you'll be from like all these different regions in like the
UK,
yeah,
yes,
in the
it was
UK.
very cool because it was showing basically like how all of those accents and dialects came to be and like what sound changed to make it different in that region.
Yeah, and like some of them you just like talk, more musically or like you change this vowel or whatever it is. And they can all be so similar, but they end up sounding very different because they have very distinct things about them. But if you have a dialect, you could also have an affectation, right?
Oh, okay.
They're not like mutually exclusive necessarily. Because like if I could do Laz's voice, but with vocal fry, right?
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, but what if he like
Was a smoker?
Yeah, what if he smoked a bunch, right? Because they're usually an adaptation, right?
Well, that's part of why his voice has a little bit of fries because he's drinks.
Exactly. So like Quentin has both.
I think it's really interesting because this is kind of something I like want us to sidebar on because I don't know as much about it. I know that I've lived in a lot of different places where people speak very differently. And I know that I was kind of conditioned to cover up my Southern accent. So you'll hear it more when I'm tired or excited or, relaxed, really. But people refer to like Southern accents, but there's so many different ways that is. And then you were talking about like idiolect, right? Is that a word you've used before?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite words. So an idiolect is like your specific individual way of speaking based on everywhere that you've lived, people you've spent time around, things like that. So like all of your individual experiences make up your idiolect. So like you can hear in, mine that I've lived in the northwestern United States because my speech is quote unquote very lazy.
I don't never thought of it like as lazy. It's really funny because I didn't realize how much of a Southern accent I still had until we started recording. And I was like, wow, I do speak very differently from you.
Right, because like accents encompass so much. Like an affectation is usually like a choice. It's usually like one particular thing, and an accent encompasses like your vowels, the rate at which you speak, the musicality of your speech, like all the characteristics.
So something that I don't think I've ever told you is the reason that Akata has an affectation and not an accent, because I really enjoy doing accents. I enjoy I actually like study them, and we can talk about that in a second. But is because you taught me that was a choice you could make. That with River, that River didn't have an accent. River just had an affectation, a way of talking, and I thought that was really cool and made that choice on purpose with Akata.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I was gonna say something that kind of goes along with affectation. Is I think about personally when I'm like creating a character voice are the vocal viewpoints, which like
ooh, what's a vocal viewpoint?
So like viewpoints training is something I studied in college that I absolutely love. I find very useful in daily life, to be honest, because you hear me say it a lot, but like everything's viewpointing all the time.
So what is it?
So there's
no, what is viewpointing?
So viewpointing. Let me look. I was like looking up my vocal viewpoints. So viewpointing is a system that's developed by Mary Overly, and then Anne Bogart and Tina Landau took it and expanded it in a different way that they found useful. So they're like a set of principles that you use to explore time and space, usually in performance,
right?
But I think you can apply it to pretty much anything. So the 9 physical viewpoints that people will study are spatial relationship, kinesthetic response, shape, gesture, repetition, architecture, tempo, duration and topography. So you can see how, like, those would lend more to, like, physically doing things in a space, right?
Yes.
But, like, in the room that we're in, those are all also in play, even though we're stationary. They're choices that we've made to make the room feel how we want it to feel. But the vocal viewpoints are something, specifically with, like, D&D, and it being online D&D, I find really helpful. So those are pitch, dynamic, silence, timbre, and then acceleration, deceleration. So, for example, with River, his pitch much lower than mine.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I want to make his voice really deep. And he's also, in terms of dynamic, he's pretty soft. He doesn't speak super loudly.
No, it's kind of a problem when we're recording him.
It's a problem, and, like, for my show, it was a problem. I had to, like...
You changed his voice for your show because it didn't work in that space.
Yeah, people needed to hear me better, which is what these are for. And then acceleration, deceleration. He speaks pretty slowly usually, but if he gets nervous, he'll speak, like, faster.
Whereas Mirth speaks real fast.
Yeah, Mirth and Mercutio speak really fast. And so specifically what I was trying to say earlier was, like, his timbre. He's pretty flat.
Yeah, he's very monotone.
And so I was like, that's what I want him to sound like.
Why?
I think because I used to get the note a lot that I was really monotone and that was bad.
That's sad. It's not a thought I've ever had about you.
I think it, like, my voice changes a lot depending on who I'm talking to. But also, like, I was a lot younger, so...
Also, like, I think who feels safe. Who does it feel safe to be enthusiastic and loud and all of those things with, right?
Yeah.
Well, because I feel similarly, because I tend to not like being loud. And I always got in trouble for being too quiet and, like, weird stuff like that. But also I got a lot of crap for speaking slowly, which is part of the conscious decision on here. If you guys haven't noticed yet, we do not really edit out silences because sometimes I take a very long time to say things. And one of the big things we want to do on this podcast is really pretty rawly show two people who are neurodivergent and what it's like to deal with that. We do edit out when we totally blank for, like, minutes at a time. But this is the way we talk. And it's very interesting as the person who edits everything, how quickly and brightly you speak versus when I'm relaxed and how I speak.
Yeah, because, like, I learned to speak faster so that people would, like, hear me and listen to me.
Yeah, definitely understood that in a female body. Speaking more quickly.
Yeah. So I think that was part of the other reason I wanted him to speak slower too, is, like, and part of the reason I wanted to play a man, right? I think we talked about that a little bit of, like...
I do wonder why all your characters are men.
So do I. We're gonna find out.
Hey, be careful, because I wondered why all my characters were men, and, look what happened.
I think it is a different answer.
I know it's a different answer. It was just funny.
I want to say the explicit answer that you said the other day that was a joke that was really funny.
I mean, yeah, I guess skip the next 15 seconds if you don't want to hear a dirty joke.
Ready? Go. You were like, because you like dick. And I was like, that's funny. I think with him, I wanted, like, a break from being in a female body.
Makes sense.
Especially at that time for me. I was like, I need a break from all the trauma. So, I just wanted someone who was, like, really different from me, but also was things that I was, like, trying to cultivate at the time. Like, I was, like, doing yoga every day and things like that to try and calm my nervous system.
Yeah, as you weren't in a great situation at the time either. So.
No, but his voice, I created like before the game, and I usually start with their physicality. So, just like moving around, doing stuff by myself in my house. And then,
That's awesome.
yeah, and then you like find, or I find voice usually from that. Because like if you adopt their body, it's easier to find their voice for me.
That's really cool.
I'm like usually just a physical actor first. So doing all this voice stuff is really against my
Type.
yeah, like my that's funny. Against my type, against my like what I used to view as my only strengths. Why don't we hear a little bit about Mirth then?
Mirth is a dancer, and like he's actually the carnival he's a part of is like a freak show. So there were all kinds of like really interesting alternate types of people from like the circus industry and carnival industry from like the early 1900s and things like that. I did a lot of research because that's who I am.
Yeah, you do a lot of research for your characters.
I watched like a lot of documentaries and stuff about people who still like, because he's a sword swallower. And don't make that face.
What? I was just smiling.
He's a sword swallower, a fire dancer, like a whole bunch of other things. So I like watched a whole bunch of stuff about what he did. I hadn't made a tiefling yet. Mirth was my first tiefling.
That I forgot about and like still flabbergasts me.
Yeah, I played a lot of half elves and I played halflings and things like that. I played a half orc, but yeah. So I did a lot of work for Finesse at the time, Finesse the Blade. But I did a lot of work for him. So I also did some accent work. So like I had started for a different character doing some like study of like Northern Irish accent and dialect, and continued that and then tweaked it. So I spent a few weeks like learning, like lots of hours learning, and then I would change little things about it to make his accent his, and came up with like why. Because I did ask, like with previous characters, I would ask the DM, what does this region sound like in your world? And then I would try to learn it. Like at one point I had a Romanian accent that was very much a fantasy Romanian accent. I studied it and then changed a lot about it to be able to say like the words that were actually like in the setting.
Sure.
Right.
Because they can be really, really hard to say in an accent that it wasn't
designed, right? So like I tried to tweak it so that it was more like this is what it would sound like if these were your hometowns, right?
Yes, I've had to. Oh, those are like the hardest dialects to do when you're doing a dialect whose first language is not English. Mm-hmm. It's like another level of difficulty.
Yeah, so it was really fun, and like I would never claim that like Mirth's accent is anywhere like in accurate real world Ireland, but like it takes a lot of like Gaelic roots from it. So yeah, that's how I made that accent.
Well, I'll also say I'm sure he sounds like at least one person in the world, because like everyone's idiolect is different. Mm-hmm. No matter where you.
But he so I wanted to make somebody who was very confident in his performances and very charming and kind, and like you could hear that in the way he spoke, and because he's genuinely a very sweet person. But unfortunately I cooked a lot of myself into him, so like he had a lot of insecurities and a lot of issues that also came out in his voice and like how he talked to certain people and things like that. So
yeah, he does talk like very differently to different people because he's like such a like the performance aspect of it.
He's such a chameleon, like he really is, because he can pretty much be anybody, and he's an expert performer and like basically a lot of things that I wish that I could be physically, because at the time I wasn't capable of doing much physically, and at the same time it was like a combo, like you said, of there were things that I wanted to be that were in him, which was like the confidence and kindness and charisma with people. But there were also things that were just me that I cooked into him. Like, he just had memory problems. And I tried to give him a family that loved him, but he also couldn't remember things. And, like, you know, all those sorts of things went into him. But so next I think we should talk about what we discovered with these characters and how it led to how we created the next ones.
Okay.
So we'll do that up next with River to Voltaire. But first,
a word from our characters.
Hey y'all, welcome to Quentin's Tea Time, where I drink tea and talk about being on HRT. Today, I'm drinking a oldie but a goodie tea squared. Yep, still good. I'm drinking it iced today. And remember that is golden milk and fertility mixed together from Friday afternoon tea. I'll tell you why I'm drinking it again today. I've had a lot of hormone fluctuations and a lot of pain lately. A lot of, specifically, growing pain and bone pain, which nobody told me about when I was looking at the pamphlets for becoming a trans man. You know, I need a little more warning. Where's my FDA warnings on all these side effects, huh? I know it's different for everyone, but I'm almost 40 years old and only started my HRT about a year ago. So I am experiencing a lot of bone movement and a lot of bone pain. And there's not really a lot that you can do about that, but I have some tips of things that have helped me. Let's see, Epsom salt baths always help. Heat pads and weighted blankets, basically anything that puts, you know, a little bit of pressure on everything. And because it's kind of all-encompassing, which is really hard to deal with. But I do have a specific piece of advice. If your lower back starts to hurt when you're on HRT and you know that your bones are growing or that you're going through a growth cycle with it, check your shoes. That is so important. I recently went to go get my feet checked finally, and I went up a size and a half, and I was wearing some damn too small shoes. Anyway, that's some things that worked for me. I hope that helps some. Thanks for taking a break and sipping some tea with me. See y'all next time. All right, we're back.
We're back.
So, what were some of the things that, like, you discovered with River that led you to the way you made Voltaire, or even Voltaire as a concept?
So, I think...
Because you went from a monk to a monk, which I find...
I did.
Really interesting.
I did. Monks are the best. I think if anyone's listening to this and you've never played D&D, that's my plug, is monks are the best, play a monk.
I have different opinions, but that's okay.
I know you do. I just love them. Like, they're so... The subclasses make them so diverse. And I just love stunning things. But I really discovered, or like started my journey of discovering neurodivergence through River, I think. Kind of got told by...
Got voluntold?
Yeah, I got voluntold about it, and I was like, what? So
Why don't you get into that a little deeper? Because we haven't really talked too much about our neurodivergent flavors.
Yeah, like, one day during game... Bardis just was kind of like, River's super autistic, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I, like, you know, did the whole fun research thing, and then God, I've like realized how much of those kind of things I put into lots of characters I put on stage too. And why people were never really able to describe, like, God, this character of yours is so interesting, I can't put my finger on it. And it was always those qualities, because I remember there was like one show specifically, similarly to River, they were like, your character is so monotone. And I thought that, like, just summation, like, I thought it was bad acting, but it was actually a choice you were making. And I was like, okay, thank you for this comment. But,
what a bitch-ass comment.
I know,
Jesus.
right? Because it was a choice I made. But I didn't know at the time necessarily, like, why. And I think once I kind of knew that, I was able to kind of, like, twist that flavor a little bit with all my other characters going forward. Because, like, Voltaire's neurodivergent, too. Very differently than River, though. Like...
Oh, I don't think we've ever talked about that.
Yeah, and, I want to talk about that, and then I don't want to forget about his, like, sexuality stuff. I just want to say it so I didn't forget.
Well, so what specifically did you put into River?
So most of these are that I didn't know about. So I would say, like, that then evolves with other characters' neurodivergence, sexuality, and... Oh my god. The third thing just, like, flew out of my head. Hold on. Maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. So definitely those two things I think I can focus on. They're, like, a through line with all my characters.
Well, what neurodivergent things did you put in?
So...
intentionally and unintentionally.
They're, like, all unintentional for River. So, like, definitely, like, the way that he talks is very, like, stereotypical, like, how monotone it is.
Yeah, why don't you give us a sample about that?
What do you want a sample about? That's literally just him being like, what the hell is going on? I like to teach people to try and meditate. I try and get my friend Kayleen to do it, but he really can't. He's got too many things going on in his head. And that, I guess that's fine, right? It's okay. He gets so I will say, like,
I feel like we need to have a conversation between him and Mirth later, because then you'll actually get to hear what he
River.
sounds like.
But he has a pretty high anxiety score.
Wait, what? How dare you? How did I not know this?
Well, because he masks it pretty well. Like, he masks it very differently.
Well, I'm pretty sure Mirth would really love to know that somebody else in the party is worried. He can't keep holding the one brain cell.
I know. As, you know, in our, like, AUs when they've gotten older, like, these are things they know. But in campaign, they sure don't know. No. But he is... the way that he speaks is definitely very stereotypical, but he also has, like, really high anxiety, but he masks it just in a very different way, like, than I do. Mm-hmm. So he masks it with, like, he's the one who's calm and quiet and doesn't, like, tell anybody. So I think, like, those are, like, two more, like, vocal things that happen with him that are products of stuff I put into him.
There's a lot of social stuff, too.
Thank you. I was, like, struggling to find the word for it.
Because the contrast between Mirth and River is extreme.
Yeah, like, River, he doesn't have a negative charisma modifier or anything.
No.
But he, his charisma is not social. I think it's more in that, like, people don't feel uncomfortable around him, necessarily.
It's more that he's calming.
Yeah, and that he does, like, if he needs something, he can effectively communicate that. But he, is not extroverted at all, and will, if someone else is talking, he will just let them talk, and that is super okay with him.
Yeah, it's interesting having a conversation, but I think that's what was so interesting about having him in the group with Mirth, because if he was just in the group with everybody else, I think it would be very different. But Mirth is, like, extremely attuned to making sure someone feels included and heard.
Yeah.
So he always made space for River to talk.
Yeah, and River also, like, doesn't pick up on social cues very well, and Mirth would always, like, explain stuff to him.
Yeah.
He would be like, what does that mean? And Mirth would, like, explain it, and he wouldn't feel, like, judgment about it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, because he started asking a lot more about stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I think those are kind of, like, the vocal social aspects of like neurodivergence that are like in him mostly.
You were going to talk about sexuality.
Yeah, so like River is for sure like it's a little bit different in campaign versus the other stuff that like we're doing or writing stuff like that. But
we're just talking about campaign right now.
Okay. Well, he hasn't had a chance to explore it necessarily in campaign, but he is definitely like aromantic. He's not like so he's like on the asexual scale, but like physical intimacy is like fine with him, but like he doesn't really find like romantic connections accessible or something that he wants to like prioritize.
And I would say that that kind of extended to friendships too. Like there wasn't a lot of interest in deeper friendship.
Yeah, I don't think he knows how to facilitate it.
Yeah, he doesn't really want companionship so much. He's fine.
Yeah, he has learned over his life to be okay being by himself, which I think is another thing that like I wanted to play a character like that because that's not like me, where I like was so not okay being alone.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what did those discoveries in playing him, and figuring out a lot about yourself and seeing it mirrored through him, what did that lead to with Voltaire?
So, like I don't identify as ace at all. That was just a thing that I like discovered about River that was cool, and so then I was like, oh, maybe I should like try something else, right? And so Voltaire was my first pan character, and it wasn't.
Which I didn't know.
Yeah, because he doesn't like he does not broadcast anything about himself. Any true information about himself, I would say.
No.
For the most part.
No, but I mean, Akata does know things. Like, she should know, I just didn't know.
Yeah, it just didn't come up, and that's... But now we know. And he's, like, had partners of, like, many different genders and stuff, because it just, like, doesn't matter to him. Mm-hmm. He likes very few people. So I think narrowing it to one gender really wouldn't make sense for him. There would be, like, nobody left. Just pretty funny.
Oh, that's a good joke. I like that.
So I wanted to try that out with him because it was something that was like, I guess, interesting to me because I didn't identify that way yet. And I was like, oh,
wow.
I know, right? So I was like, this is like one that like, it's not going to be weird for me to play this. Like, it won't be like offensive to anyone or, like something that's so out of my wheelhouse that people are going to be like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know.
No, not at all.
I thought it was safe. I was like, this is safe for me to play.
I'm not going to find anything new out. Was there anything else new that because you said that he's also neurodivergent.
Yeah, so I think like something with him that's neurodivergent that's like, I guess manifests differently in me is that he does a lot of stemming. A lot.
Yes, that I know.
And
I guess I just didn't think that was weird. All the plastiques, I didn't think it was weird.
Well, because for me at the time, I was just like, oh, I'm just like I want to use an acting technique for him that I really like, that I don't find to be like, doesn't make me feel like it's work or doesn't drain me. It's something I like that will just help me feel more in this character's body. So he stems like a lot. Mm-hmm. Which is like not something, I don't do physical ones like that as much. Not consistently anyway. I have physical.
That's me.
Yeah, I have physical ones, but they're not consistent. I usually need more aural stuff.
She always has music in her ears.
Yeah, music or sometimes podcasts.
Yeah, music podcasts, but she's always got her headphones.
And it's usually the same thing.
I am physical. Mm-hmm. I cannot explain to you how hard it is to have a microphone that picks up everything that I do. Yeah. Because I would be making so much physical noise.
And I also had that trained out of me too for acting.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I did too through punishment.
Yeah.
I was like a big leg bouncer, and like I would, when I had long hair, I would like curl my hair on my fingers, and a lot of lip chewing, but then I would get in trouble for that. So then I learned to like not chew my lip or my nails, but like bite on them.
Uh-huh.
just bite, like, yeah, all kinds of stuff.
I had stuff like that too, but like more for acting. Like if you're playing a character, you gotta know how to like get to neutral, and neutral means no stemming. So
Fuck that, respectfully.
yeah, so like I can do it. It does make me uncomfortable, so I don't do it as much anymore. But like while we're recording, it takes me energy to sit still.
I don't. That's why I'm in a chair that like it spins a little bit. I have a cough drop in my mouth. I have several drinks. I can't. I it hurt. It's like it genuinely is very painful for me to be still, and if I'm being very still, that means I'm in a lot of pain.
And I know that you like feel this sometimes too. Like I get that like nerve itch when I like sit in one place for too long.
For me, so I really like this tangent because there's a lot of things that we can talk about that as we're like dealing with skill regression and healing from trauma and like allowing ourselves to be the way that we are. One of the things that I have a distinct problem with that I got in trouble for all the time is that if I'm overstimulated and I can't physically stem, and I can't like basically get it under like some sort of control for myself, I can't hear.
That's right, yeah.
Which my kiddo also experiences that and also really enjoys TV and video games. So it's like it's this weird like catch-22 of like, I really want to watch this show, but if I sit still for too long, then my body is going to scream at me and I'm not going to be able to hear anybody because I lose hearing, really my ability to like regulate my hearing first.
Yeah.
You've seen it. You can be talking to me and I'll just be like, I need you to repeat what you just said. And also being comfortable with just being like, I need you to repeat what you just said.
Yeah, it's honestly like so nice because like I lose hearing a lot too, but we've both learned to like read lips really well because of that, I think when we were younger. So it's like, oh, can I like process this by just reading your lips today? Or like, do I need to ask you to repeat this? And both are fine.
Yeah, we also say like, my subtitles aren't on today. Can you please help me?
Yeah, like, oh my God, what a game changer. A few years ago when y'all were like, do you not watch TV with subtitles? And I was like, no, like I thought that was for people who like, just couldn't hear and stuff. And then I like I turned it on and I was like, what?
The relief. Yeah, so Mirth actually has attention problems. It was something I built into him it was one of his flaws. It was like, despite my best efforts, I am unreliable to my friends.
That's right. Yeah, that's a really fun like character sheet thing to do. Like,
I love flaws.
Yeah.
I was so upset when people were like, let's get rid of the flaws and the bonds and all that stuff. And I was like, no, because it's such a fun way, especially if you don't want to do all the work that I do, to just pick something and like have this be a thing. Because like Mirth was always late. He didn't mean to be. But like in the carnival, everyone knew that Mirth would probably miss a lot of rehearsals. But when the show happened, he would stay where he was supposed to be for the show all day.
It's that time blindness.
The time blindness, right? Like he had time. I cooked time blindness into him and I didn't realize it. But that's how I interpreted that flaw, was like, he was a reliable person. Like, he was extremely skilled and talented. He worked very hard. He practiced every day, but he would miss rehearsal. Not because he thought he was too good, not because he didn't want to be there, but because he would forget.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people that he performed with, like who were his family in the carnival, learned to basically improv. And so he would improv with them and they would improv with him. And that's how they did a lot of shows. And if he could remember stuff, then he would be there, right?
Yeah.
But it was really interesting to play that out in a character and not have it be a point of contention.
Yeah, I mean, that's like something we'll probably get into more with like the nature of that party, of like the acceptance of that party, because like,
it was very healing.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting and like playing a character that forgot constantly, and half of it was me playing it, and the other half of it, like 3/4 to half of it, was me just forgetting. And having a party that was like, oh, that's just part of who you are, and that's okay. Wow, how healing is that?
I think that was also like something that helped Mirth and River's relationship in a way too, because like I was the note taker, but like River has a really fantastic memory, especially like physically. So he would always be like, "Oh, I think this is what happened."
Well, he's also the one that came up with the idea of when there was like a mid-campaign problem for Mirth with like, it was a very interesting like backstory thing that was happening, but he was having a problem with like rage episodes, and that was really new for him. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was like, "What are you talking about?" No, it was so long ago.
It was very early in the campaign because there was like Rakshasa is like a devil, and they were basically paying attention to him and starting to try to influence him, and he didn't know how to fix it, and he has a very low intelligence. Poor bean.
Little bum.
All my characters are dumb because I think it's more interesting.
Except for Havoc, who is the smartest person in the whole
That's
world.
true, but Havoc I created for you because I know you like smart boys.
What are you talking about?
But you were the one that came up with teaching Mirth physical meditation.
Yeah.
You taught him to dance, to meditate, and like it was so healing because it also opened up the idea in me that when I was feeling dysregulated and anxious, that instead of like trying to be still, quote unquote, and do things that helped other people, do stuff that helped me, which sometimes it made no sense. But when I was like really angry or upset, I would go box and that would make me feel better, or go do something physical or weightlift or something. Right.
Yeah, and I like that's just like something of me that happened with him, because like regular like stillness meditation has never worked for me, and it's always been like yoga and other stuff like that, like moving meditation.
Because I did Tai Chi for a long time, and that was helpful. But that was a really cool moment for me of like, again, that acceptance of someone being like, it's okay, little neurodivergent being. Like, you need to move to regulate yourself, and that's okay. Right?
And then that changed a lot when you made Akata. I feel like you like took that and like
Akata is still. Because Akata is well, I can get into that.
Sorry. I got ahead. That's my fault.
But I was trying to think of the other neurodivergent things in him. So he's got the memory problems, he has attention problems, he's got the need to move, he's a very physical guy. What else is baked in there? I think there's a lot of masking.
Oh,
Mirth had so much masking. He didn't realize how much pain he was in. Because I also like kind of baked into his story some of like some traumatic events that happened for me and things like that, and he had changed his behavior and basically started out the campaign where he tried to look human all the time.
That's right. I always forget because it was such a long time ago.
What a metaphor for trying to look neurotypical. Yeah. So I learned a lot about myself. Like I learned I was neurodivergent from Mirth. I had no idea. I learned a lot about my physical intelligence from him, because I was really missing being able to move because of being in so much pain and being chronically ill and stuff. But Mirth also hadn't really been with anybody. So that was an interesting thing as well, where Mirth had been very happy with his family and it wasn't that he didn't want a partner. He was demi, like, I identified for a long time. So demisexual means like you have to be in love with someone or have like a deep emotional connection with someone before you want to sleep with them. And I still have a lot of that. But it is now like very gay. but it was interesting playing him where he was like perfectly happy and then was like, oh man, do I have feelings for this person? I'm confused. And going to Akata, who Akata is so interesting because she has a very, I actually have a book all plotted out for her of her backstory because she was somebody who was very important. She's also older.
Yeah.
Mirth was in his early, like mid 20s, early 20s, something like that. And Akata is in like her late 50s. And she had like a whole life in a town and was like super important and became like the leader of this civilization. And there was a huge betrayal and she lost all of her power. Like she was canonically a level 20 druid, like an arch druid who was going to live 1,000 years and lost everything. And that's part of why her voice was vocally fried, is because she wasn't always like a shifter. It was forced upon her, so she didn't know how to do it smoothly. Like she grew up in a civilization of shifters, but she didn't grow up as one. So she didn't know how to do it smoothly, and so it damaged her throat. And she sounds really dead inside, and like she hates everything because she does. She doesn't really care about everybody, but she really cares about the people that she cares about. But I made a lot of different choices with her because it was like Mirth was such a hard accent work. And I wanted to try just having somebody's circumstances affect how they spoke. And I wanted it to be like a change that people who knew her the 20 years ago from when she was a leader wouldn't recognize her voice. And I started playing her when I was still presenting female. So her voice drop wasn't as significant as it is now. It was more like with you to River.
Yeah. It was like as low as you can make your voice comfortably.
But she is straight and monogamous and all of those things. But, you know, maybe she isn't because she's figuring that out too, right? Because she was in love with someone and then lost them and was like permanently separated and hasn't been with them for like 20 years. And Voltaire was like the first person to ever show her kindness or to understand her. But like I don't know that she's neurodivergent.
I don't know if she is either.
She really represents a lot of like, I made a lot of choices with her about being angry.
Yeah.
Right? Like her big thing is she's just angry all the time. But it's quiet. It's quiet and it doesn't take a lot for her to have to like rage or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that our friends would be like, oh, no. Akata's got, neurodivergent.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head with her right now.
No. She isn't smart and she doesn't have good attention. I think if anything, she's like attention deficit because she just doesn't listen. And it's mostly because she just doesn't have any interest. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so those were some of the differences with Akata that were, I mean, she's night and day to Mirth, to be honest. She's not friendly. She doesn't care about you. She's extremely violent. She's angry, and she has a lot of good reasons to be angry at the world.
Yeah, for sure.
She lost a lot, and I think what I did bake into her was processing being chronically ill.
Yes.
Because she used to have a life that she loved and everything that she wanted. And she was powerful and important. And now she's not only a nobody, she's unwanted. And so, like, the anger of that loss and living after it is more what was going on with her. But Voltaire and Akata are canonically together in campaign.
Yeah, because we played them in a campaign when they were younger in 5e. And they, like, we didn't play that game for super long, so we didn't get to that point with them. But then now in the Daggerheart game we're playing with them, it's like at least 10 years.
Just 10 years later, yeah.
And so now they're like, you know, they live together, they work together, they're together, and they're going on the adventure that they're on to try and help with, like, wrapping up some of her backstory stuff, really.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, they murder together.
Yeah, they love it.
They do. They are sickos.
Yeah, we just... yeah, they absolutely
What was that
love
meme that we just shared with each other? It
was like, if you like people covered in blood, like, you're a sicko, and then all the comments are like, I guess I'm a sicko.
yeah. I just said it. I was like Voltaire and Akata looking at each other.
Yeah, literally.
Let's see. So I think we should, like, kind of talk about in-game romance a little bit before, and maybe talk more about Voltaire and Akata. I think the biggest thing with Akata was that the intention behind her was I wanted to play someone who was angry and was okay with that and had a healthy way to express it. And in this world, like, it's okay for her to, you know, be a warrior and beat the crap out of people or whatever who are trying to kill them, right? Like, so that's her healthy way of expressing it. But, like, I wasn't allowed to feel angry. So I didn't have a lot of comfort with it, but I realized I was very angry. It was also kind of a last ditch effort to see, like, do I just want to be a muscular woman?
Yeah.
You know, so I adore her and I think she's amazing, but playing her made me realize I did not want that.
Yeah, and I know you've talked about it in other episodes, but, like, I don't think you mentioned it in this one about Mirth.
Oh, yeah, Mirth. So Mirth, I actually made genderqueer. Mirth was genderqueer from the beginning. You can call him him because that makes you comfortable, right? But he's not a boy. Like, he knew that and he was very confident in it. Because I made him around the time that I came out as genderqueer, but I still thought that I was, like, I wasn't quite comfortable with non-binary. I wasn't quite comfortable with woman. I didn't know what, but I knew my presentation, like the way that I expressed my gender was genderqueer. And so he is trans as well, but just genderqueer to non-binary type situation.
Yeah. So I remember, like, when we were creating Akata and Voltaire, you, like, encouraged me to try and, like, think of some backstory with him, because you were like, we decided that they knew each other before the campaign started because she was working for him but sleeping in his barn.
Because she had night terrors and sometimes shifted when she was sleeping.
Yeah, so
you didn't know at that point that she could shift. Everybody found out during the campaign.
Yeah, and so then, like, during the campaign, one of, like, the last sessions we played, he was like, why don't you just come sleep in my house? He was like, just come sleep on my bed, it's okay. And because they were, like, friends at that point, but he was like, I don't care if you have nightmares. I also have nightmares. My parents were murdered and I'm super unhappy. And then also, like, I drink a ton, and if I fall asleep in my bathtub, you can get me out so I don't die.
Yeah, and Akata, I say, like, it's unfair to say that, like, I wanted her to have, like, a healthy outlet because she was unhealthy. I wanted to have an outlet for anger that I could play and express. She is addicted to fighting because of backstory reasons. So
yeah, both of them have, like, huge addiction problems.
Yeah, but they were unhealthy together, essentially, and kept each other alive.
Yeah, they were, like, unhealthy in their own separate ways, and then used what little spoons they had to keep each other alive. But
Voltaire, like, drank a ton. And, he, like, if other drugs were, like, presented to him, he would probably do them.
He doesn't anymore, though.
No, he doesn't. In our campaign now, he, like, drinks more socially.
He's happy.
Yeah, he's very happy. So, like, he doesn't drink very much. He's a... what's the word? Pompous isn't quite the word. He's very, like, high class. Like,
Yeah, highfalutin.
Yeah, he's, like, high society man. So, he likes nice things.
Akata doesn't care.
Yeah, so he, like, will definitely still have nice wine, nice whiskey, stuff like that with his nice dinner. But he doesn't smoke tobacco anymore.
Yeah, he has, like, a special spice blend and stuff.
Yeah, he, like, grows, like, cloves and other stuff that he, like, smokes in his, like, carved bone pipe.
Yeah, he's so extra.
I know.
Yeah, it's still a sad story. Like,
yeah.
I feel like Dragon Stunners, we were trying to make, like, a story that had ups and downs, and that ultimately we were trying to all save each other. And I feel like this one is sad. Akata is a sad character. I didn't make her to be happy.
Yeah, they're both really sad characters.
But it's really, I think for me, particularly sad because he's better. Like, Voltaire is better and is happy and loves her, and she is still basically under the thrall and influence of these really bad actors that are the ones that, like, made her addicted to fighting and made her, like, reckless and took everything from her. So, like, she is just drowning constantly.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe by the end of the campaign it'll be different, but we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But that is really, it is pretty sad.
It's really sad.
But we wanted to play for another character, so, like, let's go ahead.
I have one more thing before I forget. So, we haven't really talked about alignment very much.
Oh yeah,
but
they're both evil.
Yeah, Voltaire was. I intentionally.
Actually, she's not evil. Did you know that?
Isn't she new? She's like, is she lawful neutral?
No, she's chaotic good.
I don't know. I think it makes sense.
It does make sense because she's still the same. She's still in her heart, like, the person who wanted to, like, rule her people kindly and save people, right? And so she still does that.
Yeah.
She thinks she doesn't care, but she still does that. She still saves random strangers and all kinds of stuff all the time.
Even with all the changes she's been through, her alignment hasn't changed, which you cannot say the same for that. Voltaire's alignment has changed in his life because
really?
he was probably, like, neutral good, and now he's neutral evil. When we first met him in our earlier campaign, because his parents were, like, brutally murdered, and his ex was brutally murdered, and, like, all this stuff.
Oh, backstory fun.
And he's just very, very unhappy and so isolated.
But is he still evil now?
Yeah, he's in Daggerheart. Mm-hmm. I think he is. Yeah, I think what I meant is, like, in his life before any of the campaigns, his alignment was different, and then his alignment changed with all those events. But throughout the campaigns we've played, I think his alignment's probably the same.
I should probably, like, really think about what Akata's is currently, because, like, I know that when we played the other campaign, she was still trying to be good.
Yeah, but this...
And I don't know if that's the case now, but it's for another time.
Yeah, but I was really interested in playing a character that was evil, and I know that we had talked a lot about, like, neutral evil is really interesting because it's just selfish. It's just, like, serving your own interests, which is, like, definitely him. And serving your interests and the people that you care about.
Exactly.
Right? And I think River's chaotic good, Mirtha's chaotic good, right?
Most of my characters are good, chaotic good.
Yeah.
I've never really played anybody who's lawful, except Yokeen, which is a character I haven't talked about much, is the one monk I played, who is the Way of Long Death monk, was true neutral.
That's right. Yeah.
She's extremely hard to play, but very fun. So I think we should start to talk about the differences in making our newest set of characters. But first,
a word from our characters.
The world is rough right now, my loves. Let's take a moment to show ourselves some kindness. My name is Mirth, and I'm here for all your needs. Now, take a deep breath. And again. And one more, just for me. I know things are hard right now for people like us, but you aren't alone. If nothing else, know there is a tiefling bard out there that cares that you exist, and wants you to be able to smile. Just a little bit. If only for a split second, just let yourself have some joy. If ever you feel like you need someone to talk to, I'd be happy to listen. Remember, my loves, I am so glad to have you in my audience. The world wouldn't be the same without you. And we're back.
We're back.
Okay, so all of these characters have been really interesting builds, but I think our newest characters are really interesting as well for different reasons. If you don't mind, I think I'll start for this
Please.
one. I'm gonna break the mold here.
Mom.
So, as I've talked before a lot on the podcast, I'm on testosterone. I've had top surgery, and I physically have transitioned to male, and I still express genderqueer. But when I first started transitioning and I made those decisions, people recommend you make like vision boards and stuff, and like what kind of clothes do you want to wear and what kind of things do you want to do. And if you look at like the history of that, it was all mirth. It was like I wanted to be him. He is very pretty, very androgynous. And as I started to transition, I grew a lot. So I got like way hairier than we thought I would get, and way broader and bigger and heavier, and even my skull changed shape and my face changed shape in ways that were not androgynous and not in that like, you know, pretty boy kind of way. And I was having a really hard time because it all happened very quickly. It's only been a year and 3 months. I still have at least 2 more years of change. And so when we were talking about making new characters, I was like, I know now that I used mirth to process a lot of things, and that I wouldn't have been able to process them without him. I need a character that's going to help me be the man that I want to be. And so Quentin is that. Quentin is a very heavy-set, large, strong man, and he's trans. And I baked into him all the stuff I wanted to be. And so it was an extremely different choice, extremely different process in making him. I even took like the way he talks is a lot of extended family and a lot of places that I lived. I wish I still had that accent. Lena's actually been talking to me about like, it's your voice. You can like slide back into that accent if you want, which just feels weird, but especially when you've been trained for so long to not talk that way. But yeah, I mean, I guess like, why don't we talk about like your thoughts behind making Laz, and then we can kind of go back and forth.
Sure. So Laz is pretty different from my other characters.
Yes.
He's a very different flavor of neurodivergence. He has a ton of special interests. loves to like research and learn. Learning is like his favorite thing. He also, I think, kind of flirts with the like ace spectrum. I don't think he like fully. I don't know if he would know how to describe what his labels are. Because
Definitely not aromantic.
no. But he like has had some bad things happen in his life and is very angry and doesn't know how to like didn't know how to process any of that. So I think that's what I was like trying to process with him or am of like if you weren't given any of those tools and all these things like happened to you or you were like a part of situations that were really bad, like how to like work through that.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to like try and work through some of that with him. And I've, fun side, I wanted to do a really different dialect than I've ever done before. So I worked on that for like a long time. That dialect is really hard for me, but now it's really fun. So I like wanted him to be like more of a challenge, and we came up with our backstories like kind of together. Like we talked about them a lot.
Yeah, we did.
And I think he's the character that I have made the most backstory for in preparation for a campaign.
Yes.
Because like Mercutio, I made his backstory kind of as we went, but then I started to like write about him and do.
Well, we can
other
sidestep
stuff.
because Mercutio was in between
Yeah.
for you. So why don't we sidestep and talk about Mercutio a little bit?
Sure.
Because I ran that game, so I didn't make a personal character. I made a lot of NPCs, but
Yeah, so I guess like he's my like in between that I feel like a lot of stuff happened for me. So I like made him also pansexual because I made him polyamorous.
yes, and this was when you were figuring those things out for yourself.
Yes, and that was like a really big thing for me because I took that one step with Voltaire and I was like, maybe this is a thing. And I still did not like ascribe to that label or anything. And then I was like, maybe this would be fun for him because like he'd be sleeping with everyone.
Yep.
He's into it. So he's a very, very pretty man.
But in a very different way than Mirth. Mirth is very like androgynous and like pretty boy kind of pretty, and Mercutio is very like manly.
He's a very masculine man. He has like body hair. He's got a fabulous mustache. He has like really like bold eyebrows kind of a thing. But he also like wears makeup and like he will definitely like play with whatever he wants.
Yeah, he don't give a whoop.
Yeah, he's very comfortable in his like masculinity and stuff, but because he's like a very effeminate man.
Yeah, I mean he's like it falls into some stereotypes of like a gay man. Yeah.
And he also I wanted to. It was my first bard. Because I was like, I think I was having a really.
I told you to make a bard.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of
I was
stuff.
like, you would really, really love making a bard. I will help you with the spells.
Yeah, because I was still nervous about the spells, because Laz is a spellcaster too, and I feel a bit more confident with it. But I was nervous about the spells, and I was also like, I shouldn't play a bard. Like, I'm a bard. Like, it's gonna be.
Hush.
I know. So, and I picked a bard who wrote. Which I was not doing at the time either, at all.
But you used him as an inspiration to start writing.
Yes, and
some delightful smut. Good for you.
Yes, it was super fun.
We both do, by the way. We both write, like erotica, kind of.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I write erotic romance. So.
Yeah, so if you guys like beg us enough, maybe we'll share it, but I don't know. So I started writing that with him, and that was a really great outlet for me at the time. And then I started writing my show. And he wasn't in it. And like a year later, whatever, you were like, why the fuck is he kept being like, why isn't he in this? That I finally was like, okay.
You're right, he should host it. I didn't bully you or anything. I was just more like, you were struggling because you kept struggling with the host of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved your concept of him, but I was just like, why isn't Mercutio doing this?
Yeah.
Why isn't Mercutio hosting your show?
Yeah.
And once you did that, it all came together.
Yeah, it was all fine. So there were like a lot of things I baked into him, and again, he doesn't have an accent, he has an affectation.
Yes.
And his is more of the affectation of being a performer.
Mm-hmm.
So like he knows how to speak very well if he wants to, and needs to be able to like adapt to whatever kind of speech is asked of him.
Yeah.
So he just like kept some of that was helpful for him in social situations. So I put like a lot more of myself into him. Some of it was very intentional, like him being a performer and stuff, and some of it was super not intentional, and now I'm like, OMG, it me.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, like he's very much like a character that lives in you. Like Mirth lives in me. Akata, not so much. Like Akata, I have a lot of affection for, but she's not like always present. But Mirth is always present for me, and embodies a lot of like pieces of myself. Quentin is more starting to eclipse those pieces, but Mercutio takes up a lot of space for you.
Yeah. And I feel like River does that too, but he's more like when I'm very relaxed and like chillin', and Mercutio is like a lot more of the time. Because like
fun and
I do get like really big and loud when I have fun and stuff, and he has been so helpful in so many ways. So like I'm made him and all that, and then with Laz, I was like, okay, I want to actually try and make a backstory before the middle of the campaign or whatever.
Because you did eventually write your backstory for Mercutio.
Yeah.
We wrote it together. It was good.
Yeah. Like, he has, like, a pretty fully fleshed out backstory now, for the most part. And, I wanted to go back to doing a dialect. Like, it was a lot of things of, like, okay, I did this, now I'm gonna go do the opposite thing of, like...
Just keeping your creativity engaged, kind
of.
of.
Yeah. Like, I want to make a character who's really fucking angry and nobody knows. Because he's so...
I mean,
happy.
you would never know because he's so happy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's really interesting is, like... So, I said that I baked a lot of things I wanted to be into Quentin, so let's talk about them, right? Like, and you can talk about, like, the things that you baked into Laz of, like, being angry but masking and all of those things. Quentin is neurodivergent.
Oh, yeah.
But he's me. He is... Basically, his story is he grew up in, like, a mining town, worked very happily there, lived with his best friend and lover, and has a great relationship with his twin, and, like... He was happy. He lived his life. He did the same thing every day, unless it was a holiday, and liked it simple, and has a lot of confidence in his body and himself, and didn't really want for anything. And then he had an accident in the mine, and that was the, elemental plane exposure thing that changed him from being a human into something else. And now he has a lot of pain, because he's dealing with this change, this major change that he did not expect to go this direction, and left to find a solution because he felt like he didn't fit in his life anymore. And so he's a big hefty guy. He deals with a lot of pain, but he doesn't really tell anybody about it. And he's very strong and quiet, but like mostly happy and very kind and warm with everybody. He's a lot of the things I want to be. And I wanted to embody someone who was comfortable in their body, even though it wasn't the body that is typical. Right? And I'm not saying like I'm like huge. He isn't either. He's like 5'8" and, you know, big, broad, wide guy, because he also transitioned later in life. But yeah, so like his neurodivergence comes from more physical things make more sense to him. It makes more sense if he can do something physically to help. And if he's doing something physically most of the time, he is very simple and wants simple solutions, and he tells the truth all the time and wants people to be honest and wants his life back. But he knows he can't have it back the same way. And that's the thing neurodivergently that he can't handle and he doesn't know how to fix. Because that's really what happened with me, right? One of the big reasons that I didn't transition until as late as I did was I was scared because I really like my life. And I was very afraid that I would lose it. And I'm also still, you know, dealing with a lot of pain, dealing with being a bigger guy, you know, all those sorts of things. But he had the idyllic life that I want, that I don't have a partner who wants that kind of life. So it's a very interesting juxtaposition. What about Laz for you?
So he engages in like a lot of masking. But I think more the thing that I like wanted to do with him was like the masking from yourself aspect, which
Like
is something like
what
I've
Mirth
done.
was doing.
Yeah, because it's like I've done that a lot, right? Because you have to do it out of safety a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So like for example, he thinks that he's a wizard and he's a sorcerer.
Wild.
Yeah, so that's fun with him. But then it's about discovering for me, like, when does he figure it out? What makes him feel safe enough to figure it out? Or what changes enough for him to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Like what circumstance changes enough? And not knowing, like he was also, he wasn't as happy with his life as Quentin was.
Didn't have a great parental situation.
No, and his sister really tragically died, and he died too. And then he got brought back.
Oh, that was the other yeah, Quentin died in that accident, basically, yeah. But got brought back.
Yeah, and Laz got brought back, and then he tried to bring his sister back, and he couldn't. And then everyone, like, kicked him out of his town, essentially. And he went to try and study necromancy to try and figure out how to bring her back. That whole thing, like that hyperfixation on like, if I can just fix this one thing, everything will be good.
Everything will be better. I mean, it's very similar to what Quentin's doing, right? I mean, the other thing that I baked into Quentin is he has a drinking problem, but like he's not an alcoholic. He just uses it to manage his pain. And that was a problem that I dealt with early in my chronic pain. Was I distinctly had a moment where I was standing in front of the fridge about to get alcohol. And I was like, I feel like this is a moment where I have a choice. Either I keep trying to suppress and drown this out, or I learn to deal with it. And Quentin has done both of those things. And so having that kind of baked into a character of like, sometimes I have a problem, and I think a lot of people who are queer and neurodivergent and even chronically ill have those issues where they're like, I just need a break.
Yes.
And the vice is different for everybody, but like it's an ongoing problem. And so that was also another thing that was like baked into him, was that's not who he wants to be. But he's trying to solve this one problem of figure out how to fix to cure myself, quote unquote. And that'll make everything go back to the way that it was. Mm-hmm. When I think deep down, both Laz and Quentin know that that's not true.
Mm-hmm. And I think now at that point, at the point we are at in the campaign, they're starting to kind of be more conscious of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which sucks to play.
Yeah, it's hard to play through, but it's very interesting. Like, because I want so many things about who he is. I want so many things about feeling good and confident in my body and knowing that even on hard days, it's not a bad body. Mm-hmm. You know? And I also want a simple life and to not have... I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like to not feel bad about who I am and how I work. Right? That's really the healing journey that we're trying to go through, I think, with these characters.
Yeah, shame reduction.
Which is, I think, why I picked a Southern accent for him.
Yeah.
Because he's the first character that I've played outside of an NPC that has a Southern accent. Because I wanted to embrace a lot of parts of myself. And it's working. It's really helping. But you did a lot of work for... We both used the resource that you recommended. What is it? It's the...
Oh, sure. So it's IDEA, the International Dialects of English Archive. A fantastic free resource available to everybody.
I used it too, just to consciously pick ways of saying things that I wanted. I already knew how to make the accent. I just wanted to make sure that I was picking the one that I wanted. But you studied really hard to do Laz. You also watched Our Flag Means Death.
I did, yeah. I forgot about that. Because we watched that, and then I would go back and watch Taika speak and stuff. And yeah, this is like a dialect I've never done. It's so different from so many others, you know. But it's been really hard. But now I can do it.
We have lots of fun getting each other to say something, like, different things.
Do you want to say the one we did yesterday?
Yeah, you go ahead, because I can't say it with my accent.
Why don't we do it with, like... We could do it with everybody like we did so that they can hear people say stuff. It's pretty fun.
I'll start with Akata, because she can actually say it.
Okay, so do you want to start or do you want me to start?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I should start?
Go ahead.
Oh my god, I'm trying to remember the phrase. Was it a mere mirror made of myrrh?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a mere mirror made of myrrh. What's wrong with that?
And so Akata is a mere mirror made of myrrh.
And similarly, River is a mere mirror made of myrrh. Mirth?
Mirth is a mere mirror made of myrrh.
And I am a mere mirror made of myrrh. That's fine.
Yeah, all your characters are fine. Mine have a problem. What's Voltaire?
What's it? No, it's your turn. What's Havoc? Can you do Havoc?
Oh, hold on. Hey, darling. A mere mirror made of myrrh.
Good job. A mere mirror made of myrrh. It's fine.
And then Quentin is nonsense.
I know. Please.
Quentin says it the way that I say it.
Hi, okay. Doll. Can you please just...
All right, here
it's
we go.
Fun.
It's a mirror made of myrrh.
Yeah, I understood you.
A myrrh.
That's great.
That's really fun because that is the affectation dialect, stuff is neat.
Yeah. That was fun. I liked that.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it as Flynt because I sound like Quentin when I do. It's just a bunch of myrrh.
Well, to be fair, so is my dialect. Like a mirror made of myrrh. It's pretty flat.
It's flat, but you hear the differences in your vowels.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have a lot of vowels that sound the same. So.
And that's okay. Yeah.
Well, I feel like we covered a lot of cool stuff today. We ended up talking a lot more about the character stories than we initially set out to, but I think it was good.
I mean, I think it's because we like storytelling so much. It's like we can't talk about them without talking about their stories because their stories are so tied to things we decided for them or
Yes.
like why they are the way they are.
Yes, I agree.
I could talk about them every day, so I'm
Yeah,
good with
but
it.
I think next time we talk about characters, we should talk about parts work and characters that feel like part of us. And I've found playing a character who embodies a lot of things that I want to be very healing and helpful. But that's not to say that the other characters weren't amazing. But I would say Mirth and Quentin for me are rapidly approaching being equal parts of my heart.
Yeah.
Akata means a lot to me. I love her, but like she doesn't feel like a part of me.
Yeah, and like she's a character, right? It's like they can take up as much or as little space as you need them to.
Yeah, which is really interesting.
And it can change. It's just like having any other relationship. I feel like from my like acting perspective of like you have to feed that relationship as much as you want. So like it's gonna change. It's not good or bad.
Well, I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Thanks for sharing some stuff that I didn't even know.
Yeah, you too.
We'll be back with outro and what we're going to talk about next time. But first,
a word from our characters.
Love this show? Of course you do. Want to learn more? I mean, who wouldn't? Well, you've come to the right bard. This is Mercutius Market with your host, me, Mercutia Claudius Titania Banquo Ulysses Falstaff. And yes, I did make the name myself. If you have questions for your wonderful hosts or me or anyone else you've heard on the podcast, but mostly me, email us at queerdicerolls, that's ROLES, at Obroris, that's OBRORIS, archives.com. If you wish, you can send these poor, tired queers the funds for their iced oat lattes through our Ko-fi, Queer Dice Rolls. Be sure to follow us on all your favorite platforms. If you'd like to peruse these or any other links, check out our link tree. This week, we want to thank everyone who's listened so far, and especially my friend of over 20 years, Brandon, who became our first subscriber. You're all gorgeous, and we love you. That's all for now, but I'll be back next week. Ta-ta!
You've been listening to Queer Dice Rolls with Flynt and Lena.
do you have specific questions about one of our character creation methods? Or have any lessons you've learned from a character of your own?
Send us a message on Instagram or Buzzsprout, and you might hear from us in a future episode.
The main campaign will return with some chats with the Dragonstunners in a few weeks. In the meantime, enjoy a few conversations where we get sidetracked.
We'll be back next week, but until then, take this inspiration die, just in case.
Bye, y'all.